See what I talk about. For real.
I didn't even check out. I didn't even check out his. Normally I would. I didn't check out his speech yesterday. His Mount Rushmore speech. But
the Mount Rushmore where he had all the people sitting together, no mask, no social
you
distancing.
can say, and people can see. Oh my God, man, we gonna go overtime. I already know. I think the biggest topic our next topic obviously needs to be coronavirus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand Des what you're talking about.
It's here to stay for a few more months.
Or possibly longer, depending on social distancing, I think.
How humans are disrespecting the coronavirus.
Hey, but hold on. All right, while we on the subject, what about hydroxychloroquine? Who got something to say about that?
About it.
I don't know.
The only thing I got to say about that is two things. Number one, some that work for some people may not work for all. And that's the thing you got to be careful with it. If it works for something just like this, like one of my homegirls, she worked in New York during the time of this, and they started giving people vitamin C and D. For half of the patients, it worked really, really well. They gave them vitamin C and D, and filled them up with that and B12, and it worked. Because every doctor, every place is still experimenting. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I do believe that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do believe that it does work for some people, but if somebody say, this is a universal drug for everybody and this is the thing, I think it's trial and error, just like with anything else. And I can't give it that hero, like say, oh, this is gonna be the one thing that everybody can do, because some people it hadn't worked.
And that's like many, drugs for many different things. Some it works for some it don't. But yep. I believe the preliminary numbers have it at about 80%.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good thing if it does work to that extent, and stuff like that. So I mean.
Well, I think the obvious thing is like, okay.
I think they're looking for more of a consistent solution. If you get what I'm saying with that.
Yeah, I understand, and I think we can all agree, like, yeah, it's good, and we know the numbers are probably going to be spread out and not consistent. But the one thing that I know that we probably could all agree on is like he did call it, and they made him look like a fool for it. But I digress. I digress.
Yeah.
Let me come in like an intruder. I give you a lesson of verbal combat with ill pen maneuvers. Subdue ya. When the spoon hit the teacup, you wake up. Welcome to my class. Just listen, don't speak. Visualize what you can't see. Call me the rap Bruce Lee. Wing chun techniques. Let the flow creep like you deep that haven't eaten for weeks. I've been fast and asleep, but y'all been sleeping on me like hoopers on New York Park benches. Homie, I never left the trenches. Plotting patiently and calm with my ears open listening to these culture vultures praising worldly sculptures. Man, they wearing skinny jeans and Maybelline. Sipping so much lean, they dying to reach their dreams. Run around like, hey, Miss Thing. I'm like, hey, yo, son, pass the crown to the king. You dig? Get your hair right, y'all doing it wrong. Boys, make that beat, now that's a dope song. Get your game tight, homie, not your games. This is grown man rap. Get your sweet 16. Get your hair right, y'all doing it wrong. Boys, make that beat, now that's a dope song. Get your game tight, homie, not your games. This is grown man rap.
Hey, I love it. Hey, you know what? Welcome to My Brother's Keeper, episode 2, where we talk it out. We may go at each other, but when push comes to shove, we talk it out with brotherly love. Today we're going to talk about mental health in the Black community. Anybody want to kick this off? And actually, hey, let me introduce everybody. We got Damon Paige over here.
Yo.
DesSwoir Cleaver.
What's up, everybody? Let's go.
Reggie Harris.
What up, baby?
Yeah. We doing this, man. This is episode 2. I'm excited to be here. We got a lot of knowledge to share. Anybody want to kick off this episode?
Oh, I started off, I know mental health is very important to me.
Hold on, Reggie. Damon, let's test Damon.
You hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you now.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Calvin, can you hear me? All right, cool. All right, bet.
Okay, sorry. I thought he was saying something, but I couldn't quite hear him. All right, I can edit
cool.
that.
I've seen his mouth moving, but I didn't hear nothing.
I was like,
Yeah, that's the way that was too. Yeah.
All right, yeah, Reggie, go ahead, brother.
So what I was gonna, what I was saying was how important mental health is to me personally, because I know I've seen a lot of people in the Black community, myself in particular too, where we've always, either through just that whole Black manhood thing, or through either religion that tell us, oh, we need to pray more, we need to do this more, we need to do all these different things more. And it also, but it drove me down to a path of even more instability. Every time I sucked it up more and more and didn't deal with the trouble or the issues or the underlying root, the worse I began to feel. And, and it just, things like that happen over time. And then I started researching different mental health practices and mental health techniques. And then, later on, I went and got myself tested. And then come to discover I had ADHD instead of, like depression. But that also led to my depression if I didn't have anything to do.
That's right. So,
like, I have hyperactivity and inattention. And so whenever something didn't catch my attention, and it was a mixture of, I didn't have anything to do, I was falling deep stages of depression. And because I felt like, I didn't have no purpose. I ain't got nothing to do, and so that was a dangerous road a few times in my life. And if I failed at something, I used to play ball. I used to have, like, this is so serious. You know how people have wintertime depression? I have seasonal depression with that too. And I've struggled with that too. But I also struggle with, like, after my football career ended, that was a tough transition. Ooh, that was a transition. And along with that, I remember every football season, I would get depressed after the season. And I used to wonder, why would my mood go down? Why would my demeanor go down? Why was I snappy with people? And why was I, but it was just like, I just came off that high and I needed to be back balanced again.
Right.
And so, and understanding all of that stuff where, like, mental health is not just, that person having a bad day, or they're just going through, but it has a lot to do with chemicals, hormones, man, so many external, internal factors that you're just like, it blows your mind away.
Yes.
Right.
And I can definitely second that throughout my life. And looking back, as I got older and began to do more research and know, like, because like Reggie said, the biggest thing is like, oh man, you're lacking faith in an area, or, oh, there must be some sin in your life for you to be feeling this way. Like, and I'm like, that doesn't really make you want to. Of course, I am of the understanding and completely agree that we all need that something greater than ourselves, that someone greater than ourselves in all situations. But looking back, when I started looking back in my life and saw those low points and didn't know exactly, I thought, okay, it's just what happens. It's just life. But there was definitely instances where I was beginning to like roller coaster, but I didn't quite understand why. Let me pause for a second. We get Reggie back on here.
Oh yeah, I'm still listening.
Okay, we got a video.
Oh, okay, my bad. All right, I'm back on.
It's all right.
Yeah, I was just doing something real quick. Now there we go.
Yeah, so it drove me deeper into the depression, the despair. Whenever I feel like, man, I must be outside of God's will. When I'm at my lowest, And we know life just happens, no matter, there's ebbs and flows. That's life. But I started looking at the chemical situation, what I was putting into my body, the lifestyle, what I was eating, and a big part of, because the main thing I battled was anxiety, and I really started looking at my thought life and what am I thinking about constantly. What I'm also taking in. Am I taking in something? Good things that's going to lift me up. And so that's one thing that's really that I've looked at in my life as far as dealing with mental health issues.
Yeah, I want to offer some solutions too, especially to the anxiety part with Ayurvedic herbs and different things like that. That I come to find out that came to help me, and also share about. Y'all know I'm a naturalist. And they come down.
By the way, man, those posts have been on fire, man. I'll be like, man, I need some of that kombucha in my life. I need, man, them avocados, everything you got look fresh, man. I've been on that lately, but that's kudos, man. Big up to that. Eat healthy eating, man.
Man, and that's why I share so much of it, because man, health is wealth. Like, when I looked at a lot of the, because I studied yoga too in Eastern medicine and the Ayurvedic technique in India and stuff like that, and like with Eastern medication and stuff like in China and stuff. Back when they practiced medicine back then, they took into account everything that you ate. Everything. Like even the time that you ate it. Like at what time of the day that you ate it. And it was the craziest thing ever, some of the stuff that they ended up discovering through that. And so I'm gonna share some of those Ayurvedic herbs and stuff that have helped me. And even, my natural treatment for ADHD later on, when we talk about solutions though. But I do want to say, man, especially with the Black community, man, we've been told that all that stuff is, how it is when you say, oh man, all that is crazy stuff. That's the mumbo jumbo stuff. That's the stuff,
No, that's that white.
That's for white folks. Yeah, that's the ego, Des. That's for white folks.
Yeah, but it's not white folks stuff.
No,
it's Indian stuff. It's
that's
Indian.
right.
Like people that look like us in India,
Do y'all think that everybody has mental health needs?
1 in 5 in America alone, the statistic is 1 in 5.
1 in 5 Americans
suffer from a mental health condition.
Facts.
So that's a lot.
Undiagnosed or not.
True.
I was checking out something on mentalhealthamerica.org.
Mm-hmm.
And they was saying like historically dehumanization, oppression, and violence against Black people, Black and African Americans also causes, high stress, things of that nature as well.
Contribute to that, yep.
Yeah, everyday racism. I'm telling you, like right now is a very important time for especially Black America, to definitely get a mental health check. You know what I mean?
I always say
to raise the awareness.
I always say check up from the man. Check up from the neck up. That's
check up from the neck up. All right.
Yeah, man.
Mental health as well, baby.
Like I was telling Reg, man, Reg actually put me on game because when you was talking about your hyperactivity, how y'all gotta be doing something. If not, you get depressed, whatever. I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way to the T. If I'm not doing something, I'll go into I don't care if I'm working or not, dog.
Right.
I'm not doing something other than just work and take care of my kids. I would go to this mental mind state, and I'll shut down. You feel me?
Right.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm getting my bachelor's, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because I think right now is the best time for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really I'm off this momentum right now. You know what I'm saying? With our podcast, and I'm trying to start this own business. I feel better though by doing those things. You know what I mean? If I got time, if I got too much time to think by myself, man.
Nah, it's a wrap. Des, you mentioned if we thought that everybody suffered from mental health conditions.
Yeah, you said 1 in 5. That's a low ratio.
Were you prefacing it? Was there something you were going to go with that? I feel like you had some more to add.
just to say, I was looking into the National Institute of Mental Health,
Okay.
and I was getting into what they felt was the main benefactors in mental health, considering everybody, black,
Right.
white, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the top three things really just hit for black people, as far as I was concerned. The stigma, that first thing, the stigma.
Yeah,
of
I noticed
mental
that too.
is
Stigma was the first thing they all talked about.
automatically, because when you get to black people, that's the things they say. Just go to sleep. It'll go away. Don't worry about it. Things of that nature.
Pray more. Hey, and when it comes to black men, forgive my language, but oh man, you know, just to keep it real,
You
forgive my language, but you know what I'm
you
saying?
can't sleep at night. Your mind don't stop. Man, that's
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, look, like, bro, you need to go get this man. You know?
Yes.
well. The next immediate footnote I seen, or that was being discussed, was cultural competence. We are not holding each other to a competence of mental health, and that effect it has on the body in your everyday life, not just in the weekends, but every day.
I also think, don't forget this, Des. You know, black men, from everybody, from black women to white women, white men, everybody look at black men to be the stronger person. You know what I mean? And so that's one of the reasons why a lot of black men don't open up out there.
I agree. That's right.
That goes all the way back to the stigma, the shame, shame.
You know what? You know why it's
shame.
even more important now. This statistics comes from 2017. It comes from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. They actually have a minority health division. But in 2017, the death rate from suicide for African American men was more than 4 times greater than for African American women. Damon, and that speaks a lot to the load that we hold. The burden.
Repeat that.
In 2017, and this statistic comes from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. They have a minority health division, and the statistic in 2017, the death rate from suicide for African American men were 4 times greater than that of African American women.
The death rate, the suicide or the death rate?
Wow.
Death rate from suicide for African American men, 4 times greater than African American women.
I went to the National Institute of Mental Health, and it said totally opposite for the suicide numbers.
Now, was that a recent study? And I did quit. This is 2017.
2018.
What did it say?
Suicide. It had a list for whites, 14.9 men, 18.1 women. For blacks, 6.3 men.
Okay.
6.5 women. Asians, 6.5 men, 7.0 women.
That's
and
interesting.
Latinos, 6.7 men, 6.8 women.
You know, and I need to check my sources because it's crazy. This is the U.S. Department of Health, and I singled that statistic out specifically because it did not track for me. And that in 2017 as well, it said that suicide was the second leading cause of death for African Americans ages 15 to 24.
No matter what ages, black people is not committing suicide.
See,
that higher rate goes to the white people.
42 years of living.
How many?
Probably 0.
I've heard of none.
None. But also
the main people that I've seen in the black community. Oh, go ahead, Damon. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. But what I was going to say was the main thing I do realize is we're also afraid to speak on about our mental health. So how are we going to know how many deaths are actually statistically categorized with the black?
Or would be linked to suicide, but those would be easy. Those are easy if they're not being shot or things of that nature. If it's something of natural causes that you can't define, then you would think mental health, schizophrenia, things of that nature. But if they got a bullet from somebody shooting them, those are easy.
Right?
Yeah. Now I will say this. I think, especially in the black community, what I've seen it the most is our LGBTQ community. They get them in the black community. That community within the black community catch hell because they catch it from both sides. They catch it from being black.
That's true.
From being black, and they catch it from us and black people.
And you already know it because, and that goes right along the lines with, you know, just African American men, the stigma like, oh, you can't be weak, you can't talk about that. You really, man, and that's another episode in itself, but you better not be a homosexual. Because I think that for the biggest part in the black community was like, I can imagine, you know, a lot of those statistics, Reggie, you're probably spot on, would go for LGBTQ in the African American community.